What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Pancis. If it's your first time tuning in, please be sure to smash that subscribe button. If not, thanks for your continued support. This video is an interesting update on the channel. I was just doing some pondering, some thinking about this Saab 9.5 that we got in September of 2020. It was donated to the channel, and a lot has transpired since then. Obviously, the world is a crazy place, but we've had a lot of fun with this thing, and we've rebuilt it. We've definitely put some money into it, but all that aside, this car has made me a lot of freaking money. Let me dive into this. But before we actually do, I want to tell you guys one thing. We're about to change the oil. It was just over a month ago that this car was preparing itself, or I was preparing it for a major road trip down to Florida. And it made it there flawlessly, and it drove thousands of miles or hundreds of miles down there flawlessly. And as you guys can tell, we drove it back last week flawlessly home. And so 4,000 miles of the 5 on the oil change, because I usually do 5,000 miles. So we're about to change it again because this car is leaving again tonight for another 3 weeks. It is gone again. I don't know how many miles are going to be put on it, but we're changing the oil. We're going to inspect everything, make sure it's good. So let's hop into that. And then I'm going to explain to you how this car has made me almost $30,000. Let's hop into it. So the other day after the major road trip, I did go ahead and clean up the interior. It was dirty in here and dusty, so what do you expect when you drive 4,000 miles in a month? So here it is, 227.29, just passed over that, and the oil is supposed to be changed at 227,700. So we have about 700 miles left on the oil, which means we've driven 4,300 miles since the last oil change. So pretty cool, pretty cool. That was just over 4 weeks ago. Shows you how much driving we've been doing. All right, so just a quick tour under the hood. Coolant levels we topped off the other day. Brake fluid is good. Power steering fluid. Hold on. All right, power steering fluid. Nice and drippy. Solid. Guys, this is just incredible. I mean, how much miles we've driven on this car and the amount of abuse, if you will, and how it has held up just really shows the quality build. So everything on the top here is looking good. Everything under there is looking good. Let's get underneath there now. Drain that oil out and put some fresh oil in there. And then we're gonna get into the highlight of this video, guys. If the title doesn't give it away, then you're about to find out what it is. All right, boys, so if a lot of you guys have been following this channel since last month, there was an issue with some coolant that I had spotted, but I had said I wasn't going to talk about it and jinx it because it was going on this major ride. And now that it's back, we're going to talk about it because I just wanted to let you know that I believe that the water pump needs to be replaced. I don't know if I mentioned it in the last video or two, but it is definitely something that I've been eyeing since before this car left for Florida. And when the car went down to Florida, it drove obviously perfectly fine. And my father did call me like the next day or two and said that the coolant light came on, but it didn't stay on. It was like coming and going. So that just tells me that it dropped to a level where it was just touching the sensor. So he put a cup of coolant in there. And honestly, we didn't touch that until the car came back. So it drove probably about 1,000 miles down there. And then we drove the 1,300 miles back home. And then the light didn't come on. I just checked it and I noticed that it had dropped and it was still at an appropriate level. So I just topped it off again the other day. So it is certainly leaking, but it's certainly not urgent because 4,000 miles and it topped off maybe a cup and a half. So it's not losing super fast. But that being said, I did just go underneath there and I'll show you guys. There is some coolant residue, and obviously that makes sense. And it is leaking from most likely the water pump. And that is an item that we have not replaced on this car yet. And we have driven ourselves 30,000 miles on this car since we've purchased the car or owned the car for free. And that tells me that 30,000, this water pump could have been on there for God knows how long, 60, 100,000 miles. I don't have that record, and I don't really know when it was changed last, but I know that we have at least 30,000 miles on the car. And, you know, these things happen. 60, I've gotten 100,000 miles out of a water pump on these cars, and I've also gotten like 50 or 60,000 miles on a water pump on these cars. So it really just depends on how you drive the car and kind of like your luck. So that is something I didn't want to talk about on the channel at all, because this car was on the road far, far away, and I didn't really want to jinx it or talk about it. So, just so you guys know, oil levels look good. There isn't any oil leaking down here, but if you go over here, you guys can see there is a little residue of coolant. So, this is the coolant coming from the water pump. The water pump sits right above there, and we're gonna get into this. You can see it kind of splattering over here and a little bit over here, and that is the worst of our situation here. And thankfully it wasn't an issue going on the road. I didn't think it would be, but it is definitely becoming an issue. So it is something that we will need to take care of here in the upcoming couple weeks. So that being said, no oil leaks. We didn't really burn any oil. I think I added 1/4 of a quart on my way home. It wasn't super low. I just wanted to bring it back to a normal level. And, you know, for an old engine, it's pretty damn good, guys. So I'm gonna go ahead. We're gonna get into finishing this oil change. I'm gonna stop talking about it, this car, in terms of maintenance, and I'm gonna get into the root of this freaking video. So we need to do rear brakes on this thing next, rear brakes and a water pump, and that's going to be our upcoming spring project on this car, probably going into April when the weather warms up. Damn, this car is amazing, so freaking cool. What's up, everybody? So the next part of this clip here I recorded earlier, but camera died, so we're gonna do it again. So the free Saab has yielded me almost $30,000, if not possibly more for the family, but for me personally, 30,000. And that's not profit, that's just revenue. But let me explain what I mean, because obviously I don't mean pure profit. So anyways, the Saab has yielded me almost 30 grand, as I've mentioned earlier in the video, and the subject of this video, the title gave it away. But so here's the deal. I hate when YouTubers talk about their finances. It's not something I enjoy. It's private information. But in this circumstance, it is a kind of a cool story. It is a classic, just classic work hard, barter, entrepreneurship, right? So, you know, when I got this car, it was given to me for free because of all my hard work with Saabs, and the car truly was like really on the verge of, if it wasn't going to an enthusiast's hands, it was definitely going to the scrapyard. So we literally did save this car. It needed paint, it needed a bunch of maintenance, and all these things did cost money. So regardless of that, it turned into an awesome car. It turned into an awesome project. It's probably helped many of you, which is pretty cool, because when I started this channel many years ago, I did it with the intent of, hey, I really like cars, I really like doing this type of stuff, anything cars, right? So I did all of my YouTube originally just to, like, hey, if it gets monetized, well, at least I have money to pay for the nonsense. And of course today it's doing that, and then of course, and then some, right? Like, I still pump money in and whatever, it's all fun, it's all hobby. So anyways, so far we've been lucky with all that. Hopefully it keeps going. And so anyways, this car came up, and you know, the channel is obviously monetized, so that there's an element there. But then as things progressed this past year, we had water issues in our house, and my friend needed a car, and we bartered. So he gave me a brand new carpet installation, everything for my basement, which turned out really awesome. And which then turned into, hey, well, why don't we do the floors upstairs? So, you know, that was a cost, but I got like a really good deal on installation, saved a ton of money. And then now the car is missing again because the car is being borrowed once again, free of charge, of course, but the cost is a little barter. And so the next thing we're gonna do is finish the carpet and everything upstairs in my house. So all these capital improvements may have a slight cost, but I'm getting a huge discount to normal market rate. And of course, those capital improvements do increase the value of my home. And also increase the potential of renting it if I want to rent my place. Like, you know, all that stuff plays a factor in my bottom line. So, you know, the car has turned into, not only is it a money pit, because obviously it is a money pit, but it's turned into some sort of cash flowing asset. You know, we make videos, we monetize it, we help you guys, I have fun. And then at the same time, I'm allowing myself to barter with it and increase wealth on the other end of my pocket, which I don't necessarily see directly, which is fine. But the fact of the matter is I get to enjoy the new floors, and it's all thanks to this free Saab. So, and to you guys that watch my videos. So I figured it'd be a cool video to make. It's not one of those big financial stories, but it's just a classic story of just entrepreneurship and having fun and, you know, using all the tools we got. So it's kind of cool. Figured I'd share it. It's a good clickbait video, that's for sure. And it's kind of cool. I don't know. Figured I'd document it. Drop a comment below. Let me know your thoughts. But in the meantime, I'm driving my 02 9.3 convertible, and this car's running good. We haven't been driving it much. It's got about, we've probably driven like 10,000 miles on this car in the last 2 years. Really not that much with this all from this work from home stuff. But the transmission on this car is definitely not good. The reverse gear only works really well when it's cold, and when it's warm, forget about it. And that being said, it's almost like we can go and buy a new transmission for $200 or $300, but then I have to pay somebody to install it because I don't have the proper lifts. So it's like another like $1,500 probably in labor there. And the car's, you know, maybe worth $2 or $3 grand. So at this point, we've just been riding it out the way it is, and there's no point in really selling the car, because if it runs like it is, you know, $2 or $3 grand isn't going to change anything for us. So we just keep it. I'm driving it today. Melanie took my car, and that's kind of the story here. But the car's got almost 180,000 on it, and the brakes are good, tires are good. There's no leaks, no oil leaks, no anything. So it's really in top shape. We've fixed the roof a million times. We've done quite a bit of work over the last 5 years with this car, but over the last 2 years in particular, there really hasn't been much to do, obviously, with everything going on and the fact that we've done so much prior. So anyways, that's an update on this, and that's all I got for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like, share, and subscribe. Oh, the other thing that the Saab has done for the channel, or for my family, is that we dropped a lease. We don't have a car. We dropped a new car out of the family because there was no need for it. Everybody drives the Saab instead. So that's like another, I don't know, like $6,000 or $7,000 a year not being spent on a car, which is pretty fantastic. Anyways, the Saab's been a good car. Let's just say that. See you guys next time.